In this demo, creating and configuring site collections in SharePoint 2013, creating site collections. So the first thing I'm going to do is use Central Admin to create a top-level site collection in Finance. Then I'm going to do a host name site collection in Finance, then a host name site collection with multiple URLs in the Sales Web app, and then I'm going to create in PowerShell's content database and new site collections and then test them. So in application management, I'm going to create site collections. Now I'm going to create the finance one first, so I need to change the web app here to finance. And then I'm going to call this one Finance Extranet. Now the URL for this, got to make sure it's here. Top level. Template is team site. Now under the primary site administrator, here's a check name button right here. Good. It's always good to verify there. And we could have done is actually browse for this right here. Good. So as you can see, I've created a new one for finance. Now the next thing I'm going to do is use PowerShell to create a host name site collection in the finance web app. So now I'm creating this finance, the site collection in the finance.contoso.com web app. So see on this one right here, finance with the host header, finance.contoso.com. We're going to call this one Finance Intranet, because remember the other one is Finance Extranet. So the finance site collection, that one I created using the Central Admin website. This one I'm going to actually do is so see you can use PowerShell or you can actually use the Central Admin. Now that I've done is, so notice I've created the site, sales.contoso.com, and now the next thing I'm going to do is create one that's just HTTP sales next. So notice, so on the other one, I said site, sales, and now a site URL. I'm creating for it because multiple URLs, HTTP sales. So as you can see, I've created this URL sales here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a site collection with a new content database. So I'm creating a content database for finance for UK. And then I'm going to also do then is I'm going to create a content database for USA. Let's see, I'm going to try to do this multi-threaded. Hopefully it'll allow me to do it. Now that the content databases are created, I'm going to now create site collections. So creating one for the USA and one for the UK. Now that they've both been created, the next thing I'm going to do is test the new site collections. So I'm going to bring up sales.contoso.com. I'm log in as administrator. Second thing for finance. It should ask me for authentication also. I'm going to type finance. Sales. This one right here, of course, remember I have to authenticate here. Got to make sure about that password. So, sales, finance, and then the short link on these ones right here. So as you can see, sales is up, and also HTTP sales, contoso.com, finance, and them, okay, just came up, and finance, HTTP finance. The next thing I'm going to do is test the site collections from those databases. So what we're going to do is this. But what I'm going to do with this is country, and I'm going to go on this one right here, UK. That came up nice. And let's try USA. Excellent. So all the site collections are working. So I've used PowerShell to create new content databases and new site collections that use the new content database. The next thing I'm going to do, creating a warm-up script, I'm going to recycle the application pools, and you'll see how long it does to come up. And the first time it loads, it'll take significantly longer. But then you'll see is if I just type in a browser again, it'll come up quite quickly. So what I'm going to do is after that create a warm-up script in PowerShell so that after I recycle it, it'll still come up quickly. So it'll take on this in my machine here in my demo up to 35 seconds. That could just also be because of the latency of my demo. Your hardware may be different, so you may experience different latency. But after recycling the pools, it'll be much longer. Okay, so we saw how long that took. Now let's do is this. The second time, see how quick it came up? Well, less than 4 seconds. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to close it down, and I'm going to create a PowerShell script. So I've tested the response time, and I'm going to use PowerShell to create a warm-up script for it. So I've done is on this, I'm going to save this one, save it as, and I'll just save it on the C drive right here, and I'm going to call this one warmup.ps1. Great. So now what I'm going to do is this. No force. So I'm going to do is run this PowerShell script. Okay, now that the script is run, I'm going to do the same process again. I'm just going to go directly to HTTP Finance. Now remember, After I reset IIS, it took probably about 30 seconds. So, and then the subsequent time I did it after it had been loaded, it only took about 3 to 4 seconds. But since I've run this PowerShell script to preload it, so to speak, let's see if that worked. 2, 3. Yep, see, so that's what the preloading does. Okay, so I've tested the warm-up script. Now that will complete this video, creating and configuring site collections in SharePoint 2013.